Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the CW's The Vampire Diaries. This week we've seen Season 7, Episode 8, entitled Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me. Excuse the minor voice crack there, which is kind of ironic. But, yeah, so we've been without the show for the past week or so. You know, obviously Damon episode last week, and next week is actually the mid-season finale, apparently. So we'll probably be without it. I think we're without it until January 29th, I believe. And, yeah, it'll be nice to have a break, because honestly this season has kinda sunk a little bit for me in terms of how interested I am with it. In general, it's been a pretty decent season, I'll say that. But as far as the whole, Caroline, magically having Alaric's babies in her and stuff like that, and the Julian and Lilly story is kind of starting to, just fall flat for me now. It's starting to bug me a little bit, but this was actually one of the better episodes out of the lot we've gotten so far this season. Of course, I do have my notes. Okay. Right at the beginning, we have a Damon and Lilly flash forward. Damon wakes up, he's tied up, werewolf venom on the ropes and things like that, or he's been injected with it, I forget which one. And then apparently it is the anniversary party for Nora and Mary Louise. They've been together, I forget for how long. Damon and Enzo, Stefan and Valerie, of course they plot to turn Nora and Mary Louise against Julian, and they talk about how that's going to be a hard task. Oh, especially Enzo does, because, pretty much Julian Julian treats the two of them, like his spoiled little daughters or something like that. Lilly ends up kind of drinking one of the girls at the party they organized. Julian had compelled a bunch of people to be there, supposedly to make it a good time for Nora and Mary. Lilly drinks supposedly to fit in, but, or to make them think she's still completely sided with them, whereas we know she's actually plotting against Julian, because she finally recognizes him for the monster he is, supposedly. Damon sees that, and then he reassures Lilly that he doesn't give a damn if they're linked or not. He'd gladly just kill Lilly if it was completely up to him. That comes into play more so at the end of the episode. We'll get to that, though. And also, Mary Louise, she actually plans on proposing to Nora, and, she shows the ring to Julian and asks his opinion. And he ends up giving her a ring he has, and excuse me, but I forget if we had seen that ring before, if it belonged to anyone we know, but he says it belongs to like a French queen or something, or it belonged to a French queen, and Nora ends up saying yes when Mary proposes, so that was kind of touching, Matt again confronting Enzo, and I really like how Enzo talked to Matt here. Just saying, basically telling Matt how crappy he is at his job. Because there's all this going on around, Mystic Falls, and all he's managed to do is kill Enzo's buzz. And, he did interrupt Enzo, completely draining the girl he had in the bar. And as Enzo said, that brought him to a whopping 1 on the scoreboard. So, congratulations, Matt. And, Matt's still a likable character, I guess, but since I've been, watching the earlier part of the series again with my girlfriend, I just noticed he's one of the more dull and, more underdeveloped characters when it comes down to it, and so he just kind of, Let's see. Of course, they try to bring the others around, with Valerie's story of how Julian beat her and, made her lose her baby and stuff like that. Everyone believes her, even Beau, the black dude member of the family. And Mary hesitates, but she ends up going along with her now fiance, apparently. But we'll see more on that later. Let's see. Stefan and Damon, manage to subdue Julian. Damon and Julian struggle, and Stefan comes up behind him and stakes him, which won't kill Julian, but it does sort of like knock him out for a little bit, sort of similar to a neck snapping. Let's see. There was actually a good scene between Stefan and Lilly in this episode. Stefan actually choosing to forgive Lilly, and he asks her advice on what to do with Caroline, or about the situation with Caroline, since I forgot to mention the scene earlier where Caroline told Stefan that Alaric's babies are in her, and Lilly advised Stefan to tell her he loves her, and basically that he'd be there for her no matter what stuff happens and things like that. So I do think that was a somewhat well done scene between Stefan and Lilly there. And Lilly in return asks for Stefan's advice on how to get Damon to be less colder and more like accepting as his mother. And Stefan suggests time, because he brings up the 160 plus years that Damon gave him, death stares and that certain look he has and stuff like that. Again, that plays into the end of the episode. We're getting there, don't worry. Let's see. Okay, they have Julian, tied up in that chair, but Mary comes in, takes out Damon and Valerie, and then she saves Julian, of course. Dragging out the story a bit more, shall we? Let's see, what else? Stefan assures Caroline he'll be there for her. They have a good phone conversation. Caroline tells Stefan she loves him, and Stefan does so in return. Or no, Stefan says it first, and then Caroline does it in return. Julian, when Lilly comes in and sees that he has, Damon and Valerie tied up, Julian gives her an ultimatum, choosing to be a Salvatore or to kill either Damon or Valerie. Let's see. Of course, Nora really goes at Mary for helping Julian, someone who basically murdered a baby. And Mary tries to come back at her a little bit, but really Mary's just completely in the wrong here. We all know that. I always kind of preferred Nora so far anyway. I knew there was something about her. Hair in my mouth, excuse me. Lilly ends up staking herself, not choosing either Damon or Valerie, because she believes that Julian and her are still linked. So she tries to make a sacrifice, but it turns out that Julian had gotten them unlinked, and so she just basically kills herself. Which is, I didn't really necessarily expect, especially with that flash forward at the beginning, and at that point I was thinking, okay, we know she's going to come back somehow, so it didn't really make me feel too much about it. But we'll get to more on that in a second. Enzo ends up being taken by these, these group of people, with like weapons that shoot stakes and things like that. I'm not sure if it's compressed air like Alaric used to do or something, but I don't know. Maybe it's connected to that hunter we've heard about in the news reports about the show this season. I don't know. Various characters say goodbye to Lilly. The scene between her and Stefan's particularly touching and a little sad. Of course, Stefan wants Damon to at least give her some form of comfort before she dies and things like that. Excuse me while I adjust the camera. I probably should have done that earlier. But, of course, Damon, somewhat understandably, he can't really let go of everything Lilly's both done and hasn't done for both of them. And he tells her, "You made your bed, have a nice nap." So I thought that was pretty cool. But then there's a flash forward. Again, it continues the Damon and Lilly thing. But, Damon keeps on calling her mom, and he actually says, "I'm sorry," which is similar to what Lilly tried to say to him before he shut her down when she died, which is kind of ironic. And then it turns out that's not Lilly. He's just seeing this person as Lilly, and the lady says, "Your mother has been dead for years." And then, she basically just knocks out Damon again. So I'm guessing it's this hunter character, but I'm not sure. But, yeah. So there's my basic thoughts on the main parts of the episode this week. Not a bad one, but again, the storylines with Caroline and Julian are starting to get on my nerves a little bit, especially the Caroline one, but the Julian one's starting to irritate me a bit. And Julian got away, so it will carry on for a while longer, but hopefully something goes down for the mid-season next week. Overall, not a bad episode, and probably one of the slightly better ones out of the ones we've gotten so far this season. Overall, it's been a pretty decent season, not the worst possibly, but also definitely not the best either. But we'll talk about that some other time. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, MoviePilot, and look for InSwoldead.com. Catch you guys next time for my originals review coming soon, and peace.